Welcome back to another episode of the Scaling Brokerage Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Natalie. She's going to share with us a little bit about her and her brokerage. So I'm going to give it right to you, Natalie. Why don't you go into a little bit of your background?
Okay, well, thank you. It's nice to be here with you too this afternoon. I am currently located in Mesquite, Nevada. I've been here since 1988, when it was just a little tiny town. And when I moved here, I was just kind of working in the hospitality industry, in the casinos there, in the hotel department, and in the convention sales. And I had a person next door living to me, and one of my friends, she ended up being a friend, and had a brokerage, and kind of started talking about real estate. And I thought, well, this is going to be great. This will be fun. I can, sell one house for $1 million and retire. And so I thought that'll be good. And she got me into school. And that was one of the tougher things. Nobody told me as an agent when I'd go into school that I wasn't going to learn how to look at the MLS, how to show a house or anything like that. When you go through school, it's all law. You're learning all real estate law, state law and federal law. And so that's kind of odd, as I got into the course. I had to get a different mindset of what I was doing. Once I got out of that and started selling real estate, it was really nice. I started with a franchise, ERA Brokers, and their main office is in St. George, Utah. We had just a couple little offices there. And they had actually in St. George and some in Beaver, Utah, and Hurricane, Utah. And anyway, they had this one here in Mesquite. So I joined ERA then, and that was in 1994, and have just enjoyed the real estate, the industry, the people, the opportunities it offers. You think of real estate, you just think of selling houses, but there's so much more to it too, and other opportunities in it. And that's kind of how I started. It was just a friend saying, hey, you can do this, and me thinking it's going to be easy and make $1 million, and that was it. But as I got into it and becoming the broker, I was, there for 2 or 3 years, and I would see my broker. She'd take off, and she's in California a lot. She has some sons there, and she'd go visit, and there wasn't much competition of people. And another real estate person, he was the city judge at the time. Another one was a math teacher at the high school. So I was the only one kind of here working full time and learning the industry. And at that time, we didn't have the internet or cell phones that weren't real popular. So a lot of going through the files and looking at how things were written up, just studying on my own and learning on my own. And it was fun. It was a little different task than it is now. But as things became a little bit more popular, the internet and the phones and things like that, and it's just doing that. I've just enjoyed it, and working with people too, and helping people get into homes. So that's what's kept my career this long.
Oh, sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
Okay, yeah, it kind of froze up for a minute.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, that's okay.
So you got into real estate because your friend was doing it, but what made you want to start your own brokerage?
Well, I was working with her, and she had, as the town started growing, within the year or two, we're in the middle of purchasing a couple, a few thousand acres from the federal, from the government on our north side here, because it was just government land around us. And she was gone a lot, and I needed some guidance and so forth. And the other agents that had come in the office, they were always asking questions, and I didn't know much. But I thought, gosh, I got to find out and figure out how to do this. So I was doing a lot of this on my own. And I thought, well, gosh, maybe we need some sales meetings or something. And so I was like, can we have sales meetings? She's like, yeah, sure, have at it. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just started thinking, that if I'm going to be doing all this, why don't I be the broker? Why am I doing this for somebody else? And I could be the broker, and then I could run the office the way I would like to see it run. And so there happened to be that ERA, because she was with ERA, and then she had gone off on her own. So for about a year, we had left ERA, and they had just kind of kept a little satellite office here. So what happened was I got a hold of them, and I said, hey, can I, buy in with you guys and open this office up? It's open, but let's expand it and get going here. And they were very open to that. And so that's how I kind of got in as owning the brokerage and the part owner here in the Mesquite office, and going from there. It was just kind of wanted to have, maybe not a control freak, but having control of who I worked with, who I was surrounded with, and how, the franchise and how my office appeared. And, I thought if I can do that and stand above the others. And so that was my opportunity. And that's how I started in and have been with the ERA since. So that's, and the partners I was with one was probably, they had been partners for a long time in the St. George, Utah office. One of them was a little bit older, and the other one, Thane, he was probably about, I think he was about a year and a half older than me, but his dad had been Mark's partner, and his dad had passed away. But when Thane had graduated from college, he'd gotten into real estate. So this Thane and Mark, they had been working together forever. And that's how they had grown the business. And they were very conscientious about, being productive, making sure the agents knew what they were doing, training, and so forth. So that was kind of in my mind too. You have to surround yourself with people that have the same mindset. When you're doing business, that's the one thing. You don't want to be, have partners or something that are not available or going in a different direction, are not communicating, things like that. So that was very important to me. And so as we got going, the town started expanding with the land that we'd purchased from the government. We're selling off to investors, and we had a little small airport. We moved the airport to the side of town, and Mesquite, being in the location it is a fast growing. It's always been one of the, listed as one of the fastest growing cities in Nevada. And sometimes I'm like, that's really great to say and put on, for advertising, but I'm like, okay, how many cities are there really in Nevada? There's a lot of little rural towns and things, but, with Reno and Vegas and Boulder City, we've got, quite a bit in Henderson. But that's always been nice because we're right on the border. We're close to Utah, and it's just, like a 6-hour drive to Vegas. I mean, LA, you don't leave on a Sunday afternoon going back with everybody else. That could take forever. But, we're close to, Phoenix is like, sometimes it depends on how fast you go on the roads on certain days. That's like a 7-hour drive too. Reno's 7. Everything's so convenient. So when people are here, they're enjoying the area. We don't have any of the state income tax and state corporate taxes, things like that. And then you're in a small town, but you get to Vegas and so forth. And so it's become, and the golf courses started coming in. And so that's, just being here and growing the brokerage and staying on, going forward with that. That's helped a lot too with the growth of a town. I didn't have to come in and compete with a bunch of other brokerages or people or a big city and trying to find my place. It just, I kind of helped grow it and was on a lot of the city committees as they were growing. Economic committee, and still to this day, I'm on a charter committee and a master plan committee, but being involved with the city and helping the growth of what, what's in your industry helps too. So you can have some say so on that. So controlling that end of it. But, with the partners I had there, they both probably passed away within the last 3 years. Oddly enough, both have had this different type of cancer. But Mark, the older one, he had some sons as they were going out in their different careers. He was trying to, hey, this is a family business, come back in. And they're like, no, the older one, I think Neil, he's probably, probably mid to late 40s at this point now. I finally said, okay, Dad, I'll come back home and I'll help with it. And then he had another brother, John, and then the younger brother, Matt. He's probably about in his, I probably think late 30s. But as they came back in and started helping their dad with the business, and this is prior to him passing, they were very involved in technology and being ahead of the scale, being ahead of everything. And so I noticed that Thane and Mark, as they were kind of sick, and Thane passed away before Mark, but they were kind of letting these boys come in and say, okay, they're going to run this business and take care of it. So we started expanding. I'm like, gosh, I've just been used to being this little, brokerage here in Mesquite, being successful in a few offices in Utah. Well, as we started going, we incorporated, there was an executive realty in Vegas that was very successful, and we folded in with them. And so then we opened offices in St. Rose, there in Henderson, and then out in Summerlin. We picked those offices up. So it was, helping, merge with them and so forth and bring them into our fold. So now we have those offices in Nevada. At the same time, they're opening up offices. We're all up and down the I-15 corridor between Las Vegas and Salt Lake. We've probably got, I think we're around 19 offices now altogether. But every little town up and down I-15, from St. George, and you go into, then you hit Beaver, and well, you've got Hurricane and then Beaver, and then we're up in Ogden, and we're in Richfield, Utah, and then we're up in, up Ogden. There's a little town up in the mountains, Eden, kind of reminds me of Bryan Head, Utah. But we've got so many out there now that we've expanded. And as we were going into conferences and conventions, our annual conferences, we were becoming successful as being our growth for agents, that other offices, we've had some in Austin, Texas, ask, hey, can we, what are you doing? Can we be part of you? So we've got a couple of offices in Texas that have joined us now. So we've got quite a few offices, and that's helped expand to get us out there too. There's the franchise that we have at CRA, but then the brokers consolidated, that we've got people are watching the way the growth is with these people that have been able to grow and expand, because I was kind of afraid of that. But that's what's helped me as a broker, is that, this is, me, little Natalie, and little Mesquite, Nevada, and there's a lot of other, there's some other franchises here and some other, non-franchise offices, and they've got their broker, and that's what they have to deal with. And honestly, all these brokers are great. But with me, I have my knowledge and, and what I can do and how to run the office here, but I have a back office that supports me. And that's what, so I tell everybody, I've got, the St. George office is a corporate office, and we've got all this backup. We've got a graphics department. You need an ad, you need this, you need that. They'll do that for you. You need postcards made up. It's all there. And so that helps me to be successful, is partnering up with these other people that are successful too, and they're helping me grow my business. As a broker, like I said, I have my forte, and I'll admit to anybody too, math was always my worst subject. I thought you never have to use it. When I was in high school, I thought you have to work in a bank. That's the only time you're going to need math. And as you get out in the world, you're like, oh my gosh, I needed more than I thought. But, so my forte, the compliance, I love the compliance end of it. And that's kind of what a broker is a compliance officer. And then also, I like building on professionalism. When people get into real estate, they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And how do I stand out? And, one thing I've learned is that, you're independent contractor, that you do have to put your license under broker, so that if anything goes awry or you get in trouble or something, the broker's responsible. So, you have to be conscientious of what your agents are out there doing. Some brokers just hire people, let them go run. And then all of a sudden you're getting letters from the division or complaints saying, hey, your agent's doing this or this or that. So you have to be involved with your agents too. And so, I always tell them, you have to remember you're an independent contractor, but yet you still represent a whole other office. A lot of the consumers or people out there, customers, don't understand how that works. And so that's one of the things that I try to be involved with them and remind them, you can go open up a clothing store or a shoe store or a dealership. You've got all this different type of inventory. So people are going to go here or there because you've got a different inventory. As a real estate agent, your inventory is the same as anybody else's. What's in the MLS and is out there is what we all have. So if I can go get that same house from somebody, why am I going to use you? So that's what, as you get into the business, you have to, why me? And that's, as a broker, we don't advertise or try to particularly, advertise or bring out, or one agent, or hey, we use this agent. We advertise a brokerage, and to get people to the brokerage, and then the agents have to advertise to say, hey, come to me and use me. So, the professionalism too is really a big difference, because like I said, we've got the same inventory. So what's going to stand out? So my big platform is being professional and ethics. It's always take the high road, because there's so many different roads you can take here. But let's take the high road. And I think that's, again, our popularity here in Mesquite is, and there are people that, things don't go right all the time. And, we just try to fix them and take care of them. And that's my thing too, is like, okay, so, you didn't get the best service, or this didn't happen, or that, wasn't as expected, instead of saying, oh, I'll see you later or whatever, it's like, okay, how are we going to fix this? What can we do? So you'll have a great experience here. And I think bringing the agents in on it too, and keeping them calm and not being upset, helps with that. And that helps, so back to the actual where I was going to, the point is that so just standing out, and I, why I'm with this brokerage, and it was just because I have other backup too. So where I have my strong strengths, I have other people that are great with our numbers and keeping up with this and that. We're all looking at this and helping each other. So and plus I've got the other brokers that in the Vegas area too that we can rely on and help with Nevada and our laws and so forth. And like I said, the owners now, the sons in the company are excellent, and with our technology they've brought to us, we one of the things that the agents come into is that we have our own paperless filing system and CRMs. ERA provides us with a lot of tools of franchise, but we have I've got it right here. We have RD Transactions is our system that they've come up with, in which ERA wanted to purchase from them the franchise, and they're like, no, this is ours, and that's our our filing system. The broker's files, I can get in there, and it's all the files, all the agents' files are in there. And that's RD Transactions. We have a file share with tons of brochures, monthly marketing reports for every market we're in, just so many things, open house things to help people with listing help, purchasing help. I mean, there's brochures and pamphlets and everything for our clients and open house things. So that's all in there for them that nobody has. And like I said, our marketing reports, those are done monthly for us. I can pull up a marketing report for any area that we're in, or just here, you have a builder coming in or somebody that needs a marketing report. I'm like, here I go. I don't have to go into the MLS or do anything on my own. It's there for me. We've also got RD Academics, which is a school that is for free. Anybody can get their pre-licensing for right now. It's California, Nevada, and Arizona. I think we're about done in Texas. Pre-licensing for free. You can go in RD Academics, look up the state, get your licensing done. You don't have to join ERA anything. It's all there. We would like you to join our franchise, but you don't have to. It was hard to get that license here for that school in Nevada, because they're like, hey, you're going to run everybody out doing this for free, But our thing is like, well, we were offering this, and in the long run, if we get so many agents, that'll benefit us, and also on all these RD Academics, we have free classes too. So that's CE classes that's helped a lot. And like I said, so having people with this, if you go in, we have RD tools. You can go in, and there's we have a mortgage calculator, a commission calculator, net sheets. There's a bid over ask. It'll help you if you're going to bid over asking price. It'll show you and calculate how many years it'll help you to recoup your money. So I know our lenders use that even too for a lot of this. So with aligning myself with the right people, not only does it help me, but then I have my agents ask for something. I'm like, hey, it's not in my head, but I've got tools for you. So that's what's helped me as a broker, and to stay with this franchise and work with them and partner with them is just being with the right people. And I think I made a great choice on that end.
Nice. And what do you think is going to happen like in the future? Do you guys have any goals like for this year or for the next 5 years? Or
we do set goals for a long time. I know it's always funny, because this franchise especially, we have a lot of larger, the franchise, in New York, there's a lot of larger offices there. They have the franchise, but there's a few that were always ahead of us, and always winning as far as volume and gross income, gross commission income and stuff like that. And so they're always way ahead of us at that point. And so with the Walters, we call them the Walter boys, they, Neil and John and Matt, it's like, Neil, he's the CEO. He's like, let's be number 2. Let's go for number 2 this year. We're going to be number 2. So for a couple of years, we were trying to be number 2, and we were number 2. And then we're running a lot of the franchise awards and so forth. And then last year, it was like, okay, you guys, we're going for number 1. Now we're going to go number 1. So our goals are, just because, so-and-so's number 1, you might be number 5. You don't have to be number 1, so let's do it professionally and, just be professionally. And so that, because when you hurry and try to do something and try to be the best, you stumble and make a lot of mistakes, or you leave a lot of elements out. So and with us too, one of our things are, and I really like this, is, with a lot of these programs and software that they have developed themselves, and that, so it's given me an opportunity to look great too, is they develop these, and it's not like, oh, somebody put out some software, let's do it. It's like, oh, let's put out the software. why wait for somebody else? Let's be the front runners. Let's be everybody else wanting what we have. At this point, we've rolled it out, and it's in our Texas office, but we've got our own software now for our property management. We're very successful in property management, which I would say every real estate broker, really every real estate office needs to have, because that is a steady income for you as where, if the agents aren't selling anything or COVID shuts you down, where's your income going to come from? So you've got that property management. Well, the management software that's out there is very, very expensive, and not only to purchase, but to use monthly. So with this, we're developing our own software so we can lower the cost. We're not charging so much per transaction, to our office isn't paying that. We can lower the cost for our users, so they don't really have to do that. And usually it's the office that's picking up that cost. I know a lot of times with this program, when people make payments online, whether they're renters or whatever, they'll charge you to, another $10 just to make a payment online. This way, we're not having to charge our tenants $10, So that's nice that we have that, and it's working fairly well. I think we'll be our office, because we've got quite about almost, like 500 properties here in Mesquite that we have. We do some commercial too. That we'll be rolling that out soon. They said the spring, probably in March, using it here. So that's another thing that we have that's great. I know you had asked about, agents and what to do with agents and retaining them. Or my thing with my agents is, when I bring an agent on, the agent's always looking, and sometimes they've been in the industry for a while, or sometimes they're brand new. Brand new agents don't know what's going on. You've gone through school, you don't have, and so sometimes the first broker you go to, you're like, okay, I'll sign up. They just want to get going. And sometimes that's how I've gotten a lot of agents, is because I was the only broker that called me back. I'm like, oh, okay. And so it's like, I didn't have to sound brilliant on the phone or promise them anything or do anything. It's just, I called them back and they came in. But, when you're bringing in agents, I think a lot of people, it's like, how many agents can we have? And that's one of the goals that our offices have, as far as a company-wide, okay, how many agents can we have company-wide by the end of the year? So we are always trying to recruit and bring people in, and have it. A lot of times people listen to the other agents, hey, I'm in this office. What about your office? So it's not just the broker. Sometimes it's the other agents that help a lot too. So if you're impressive and you help your agents, then they're going to help you recruiting. But so bringing in the new agents, a lot of people, is to have them, show them the programs we have. We have a ton of training here, a lot of online training. Like I said, with our RD Academics, there's the free CE, but we also have the ERA Agent Exclusive, where there's a lot of training for that, where they can go on exclusive training on there. We have tech circles on Friday that's available on Zoom. We have our Zoom meetings, and a lot of it's, some days we're talking about what to do on Facebook. Other times it could be Instagram. Other times it's your emails or how to, there's all these scams going out, how to protect yourself. So we have a lot of tech circles like that on every other Friday. And like I said, I personally, with our schooling, most of our brokers are instructors. Being an instructor too, I'm able to, just for my office here, I could do it for whoever, but I do it just for my office. I have free CE classes. I have them, and so people don't have to run into Vegas, or especially in Nevada, where you have to have half of them live too. So that's helped with the agents. And I think that one thing a lot of brokers forget about too is that while you're recruiting and bringing in all these new agents and trying to grow your office, you're spending a lot of time training them, and that's good to have. But the retention of agents is very important. You have to pay attention to the agents you have, even your top producers. And you've got to talk to them every day, be available for them. And it's nice, with the DocuSign, Authentisign, a lot of these other things, .loop, to be able to sign things online. So even at nighttime when they're sending me things, I'm checking my email and I'm signing these things quickly for them, because time is of the essence in real estate. And they, if they have to wait there till morning or next day for me to hop on and sign stuff, they can't move on. So I try to support them and do that. And if I don't hear from an agent or see an agent, a lot of people think, oh, they're not producing, they're disinterested. It's like, a lot of times, especially, the agents that have been in producing, if you don't hear from them, somebody else is courting them and trying to move them over. So I think paying attention to your agents, and I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you in a week or two. Where you been? What are you doing? Get in here, or something, or let's go to lunch, or, the retention is very, has found me to be very successful. And I have had a lot of people, because a lot of people say, hey, what does a franchise do for me? There's a lot of tools franchises offer, but a lot of people say, I'd go anywhere, but I'm here for you because of you. And so I realized that paying attention and being there for your agents and supporting them is a big thing too. So bringing in the new agents, and new agents, they want training, or even some of the other ones that are bouncing around from office to office say, oh, they didn't give me any training. Well, you realize that they don't take advantage of it. So, time to be a parent saying, hey, where are you? Get in here. I've got this meeting, you didn't come to the last one, and you got to know what's going on. They okay, out of guilt, they come in. I guilt them a lot, but so that's been part of trying, recruit. And it's hard to recruit in a small town because people, well, I'm not making any money, but I'm here for my, because my friend brought me in. And it's like, okay, if you want to be poor and not eat, but have a friend, that's good. But you can do both over here.
Yeah.
So,
100%. Do you have any advice for, let's say, new brokers that are just starting out and they're trying to build their business?
oh yeah, and that, it's tough, just like in any other business. But one thing with brokers, and I've noticed when a new brokerage opens up here, is that they're all excited because they're like, hey, I'm opening up, and all these agents hear about them opening, and they're just kind of going around and getting a feel for what agents this so and so got, and they're looking up at your profitable agents, your producing agents. But what I notice is they're always excited because they always get 3 or 4 agents like right off the bat. But what they don't understand is those are the 3 or 4 agents that nobody else would take, that have caused problems, or been to the division, from the division all the times, or just don't get along with the other agents. And so as a new broker too, I'd be like, be careful, first of all, the agents that hop on right off the bat, because it's like, why are they so excited to come here, and why aren't they anywhere else right now? Or why is their license been on ice for a while or something? So, always check around and kind of sometimes call the other brokers, because brokers, even though we're competing with each other, we still do talk and get ideas from each other, and say, hey, I got this agent coming over, what's going on? Or I heard that they did this or that. You're not going to talk bad about somebody, but we kind of help each other. So as a new broker, that's one precaution I would take that I've learned and watched. And go slow. Don't open an office and expect to have 30, 40, 50 agents or more, depending on the market area. Get a small office, make sure you can cover your overhead, and get those agents in, because the overhead, it's not like you have people working and money coming in every day. You've got to wait, those agents have to be out there producing to have that income, and get some rentals going too. So start off small, just say, hey, don't be paying a ton of rent. The best thing to do is if you can own your own building, that's what we do here is, in this business. But you realize owning your own building and not having to pay rent, even if you're paying a mortgage on the building, you're going to end up with some equity, as for rent, you never do, so either, have equity for yourself or for the landlord. So try to own your own business, but if not, but even if you own your own building, or start smaller and then grow with it and expand then, and I think that's in any business, you go so big and then you don't fill it up, and then you're paying out all this money and not any income. So look at what you can do so that at least you have some kind of revenue coming in, because you've got to pay your overhead. You've got, copy machines, you've got your front desk, you've got electricity, just like any other, like a home, you run a business like a home, you've got this overhead that you've got to make sure you got at least pay that. So I say, watch the agents that bounce over real quick, what's happening, why are you here? And then, kind of go slow and pick and choose people that you want to work with too. Because some agents will come in, they could be great agents. I've had agents that are great producers, and the other agents in the office are like, oh, can you get rid of them? Can you get rid of them? Like, they're not doing anything wrong. But just the negativity is like having a cancer in the office. The other people don't want to come in and work with them too. So sometimes it's like, well, do I have this one great producer, or do I lose, 5 or 10 other people, or have this negativity in the office where nobody wants to be here? Because that's another thing. People want to work from home all the time. But if you have a great atmosphere in the office, it's easier to work in the office. People are walking in, your clients are here to meet you. We have great conference rooms, to meet in and things. And the atmosphere is better than, hey, I'll meet you at the house or something. Come in here and we'll sit down. We'll look at the media wall. We have a TV up there. We'll go through the listings and let you see the pictures and narrow them down. So you want the atmosphere in the office to be great too. So kind of watch out that negative person.
You said that, sometimes the first people that come to the business, or the first agents that are attracted are probably not the best fit. How do
Right.
you find agents that would be a good fit? Like, what do you think is the best advice for newer brokers to try to find out the people that would fit their culture best?
Right. And I think it's just, when they come in for an interview, and a lot of times, a smart agent, you hate to hear this, well, I'm interviewing with everybody else. You're like, dang it. But I think if you're self-confident as a broker, and bring them in for their interviews and talk to them. A lot of times, you can just hear cockiness in them, or, well, this didn't work out here, that didn't work out there, and the economy is failing, and I'm blaming it on the president, and so wouldn't let me excel here. You can tell there's a lot of negativity, and sometimes I can see people in other offices that are negative or aren't that great in other offices, and then all of a sudden they come in here and say, "Hey, can I move my license here?" I'm like, okay. I'm like, gosh, as a person, they're nice, but has anybody actually worked with them and helped them along? Because, like I said, a lot of brokers just, bring the people in, and then they're on their own. It's like, okay, producer or something. So okay, so I have tried that out, and sometimes it's worked. And other times it's like within a year, I've actually had to cut people and say, this isn't the right office for you. It's not working out right. And it's kind of hard, but I had to do that because everybody else is going to walk. But some people have, turned around and or sometimes it's like, okay, do you know that you're perceived this way, or the way you talk to people or something, or just because you're in a bad mood and come in all pissy all day long doesn't mean you have to take it out on everybody else. And they're like, oh, my kids say I do that too, or something, and you're like, and so sometimes bringing that out, and then they notice it, but sometimes it's like, gosh, I have to stand up and be a broker and not a friend to people. It's like a parent. Sometimes I feel you're a parent. You're like, okay, got to follow these rules, or I'm going to get in trouble. It's like, you don't go to school, the parents get in trouble. It's like, hey, you get in trouble, you make the consumers mad, I get in trouble. So you're going to follow the rules, but then too, let me help you. Let me give you some criticism or critique, and you have to do it tactfully, and that has helped. But like I said, during the interview, listening to them, and not like, oh, okay, I've got me another agent, here you go. And there are a lot of brokers that do that, but there's, you just see so many, it's like half the agents never see the broker, or the broker's not in. A lot of the paperwork I get from brokers is a rubber stamp. And so I know that they don't even see the agents that are being hired. And so I think it's a job, just because you can work from home doesn't mean the broker has to. I think you have to be there. I'm here every day. I do take off sometimes, not long. I don't go 2 or 3 weeks or a month at a time. If I go, it's, up to the cabin for, 2 or 3 days, or, out to the beach for 2, 3 days. I'm always here, and I'm available too. I don't say, well, don't call me. I'm not, don't call me. Don't want to be bothered. I never say that. So I think being available to those agents and paying attention to them too, you can kind of weed out the bad ones or not hire the bad ones.
100%. Well, thank you so much today, Natalie, for giving us a half an hour of your time and sharing some, good insights on the real estate industry. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys got a hold of me and invited me. I appreciate it.
And thank you everyone else for watching. We appreciate your viewership.